Morning, everybody. This is the Operations Committee for the Village of Prince Edward for February 14th, Valentine's Day. Call the meeting to order. Any declarations of pecuniary interest, Marianne? None here. The prior minutes were approved by council and are provided in the agenda package for information purposes only. We'll go on to ongoing tasks for the operations department. You want to walk through them, Jim? Do you want me to?
So Memorial Tree Program, we're setting up a meeting with Omnicom on a few different things, so that will be more of the discussion items we have when we sit down with them. The casino mural has moved forward. Mesh presentation is scheduled. We're planning on doing that on the 28th. We're working the RFP. Everyone has an RFP ready to go. We're also working with another consultant that may avoid that, so we're looking into that at this point to see what they come up with. Memorial basket program, we haven't done much on that yet. Signage on washrooms, that's something, Steve, you make a note to look at that.
Were they ordered?
Pardon me?
Were they ordered?
I don't know.
Oh,
I want to know what's, like I see on the end of the splash pad washroom, but the other ones are closed for the season.
Yeah.
So I just want to know what's there.
we were gonna put dates, I think was the
They
initial
wanted
plan.
to say,
Imran was
till
gonna
when?
order those, and I don't have that order.
Okay.
He didn't ask me to order them, so. And I'd like to get actual concrete dates from you guys to make sure that we're doing it properly. I'm assuming it's November to May. That's what it's been in the past. But I don't want to put anything up until we know for sure.
We will, there's something in some minutes from past meetings, we'll get that straightened out. Order. Seasonal banners, I'm not sure if there's an item in the agenda on the capital budget, but we'll add that if it's not there already. I've had a meeting with JMS, and we're talking about adding a second address to Light Street that they can use for deliveries, so the county can provide a second address. We just need to find out, I've got to get a hold of JMS again and see if they're able to add a second address to their invoices, so the truck drivers know where to go there. Reconsideration of red bud tree, that's ongoing. The eyewash station at the Public Works building, Steve had sent his report. Skate patrol has been put off till the end for this year, because there's only a few more dates where it's going on. So with the training that has to be done, we chose not to move forward with that this year, and we'll get started earlier next year. We have a couple of candidates that we feel are very good, just didn't, train up for this year and then only do a few weeks.
So the hanging basket program has been here for a long time. We're almost at hanging basket
Yes.
time. And can we
Yeah,
Can we
we're
have
gonna
these
make it a
for?
priority.
Can I ask?
What's that? Well, so I was in one community and they had plaques on the poles that said this planter in memory of
Okay.
Bob Smith. And
So it's nothing to do with the actual planters, because they're
No.
not ordered.
yeah, no, the planters would be the same. It just allows people to donate money,
Okay.
much like the benches. And so we would just hang a little plaque and say, and then they would pay $200 a
No,
year.
stay up year round.
You probably go with the, I don't know how, that's,
Yeah,
we're
we
looking
have
at
to
staff to
figure out
make us a
Was
recommendation.
that maybe like a plaque on the pole itself or plaque on the planter itself?
Maybe.
I would say the planter's a little high to be reading it, so the pole would make
Yeah,
more
that's true.
sense.
So it might just be a strap and then mounted on the. It's brought for the staff, we're just waiting on suggestions. Okay,
Ready?
health and safety, the arena report. I assume that one item's been addressed, Derek. It says something, I guess.
Missing tag on a fire.
So.
Public Works. What's all this? Morning clothing.
Yeah, that's good.
New business,
Should have a motion to receive a file of the
Motion
board
or
recommendation.
so we receive and file both of those. Arena monthly report. Derek, it's all yours.
Sure. This is the Arena Committee report for the month ending January 31st, 2023. On January 4th, Don McNaught of Ainsworth Technical, along with representatives from LK Metal Products, came to look at hot water tank project. As of this report, we are still awaiting a quote. It's supposed to be due this week, to be honest with you. Silver Stick board logo was ordered and installed on January 5th, compliments of AG Sign and Graphic. January 6th to 8th was the 23rd annual Silver Stick tournament. We hosted 22 games over the course of the weekend. All indications are the tournament was a huge success. Black McDonald were in on January 7th with the condenser motor sounding very loud. It was determined that the motor was failing. This is the new motor that was installed in September 2022. We were able to run one compressor for the remainder of the weekend. On Monday, January 9th, the new motor was installed under warranty. New belts and shaft couplings were also installed as preventative maintenance. On January 9th, the Ontario Provincial Police were in to conduct crime prevention through environmental designs analysis of the arena and outside areas. Some of the recommendations mentioned after the analysis were as follows: fully monitored security/alarm system for the entire arena and community hall, door sensors and cameras, security film on all glass doors and windows at both arena and community hall. Also, it was recommended that we install exterior cameras in areas currently not covered back of arena by dressing room 7 and 8. January 10th, 911 was called for a male hockey player, VSA, on the ice. CPR was administered by fellow teammates while the AED was located. The AED was utilized on the individual before fire and ambulance arrived. The individual was alert, leaving the arena by ambulance. A special thank you to all involved. I can report as of this report, the individual had successful surgery and is at home recovering. As a result of the above incident, the AED has had new pads installed. We also have added a small towel and a pair of cheater glasses in the storage of the AED. January 13th and 14th was the 52nd annual Boys International Silver Stick Tournament. We hosted a total of 12 U11 games and 9 U18 games. The weekend was very busy at the rink and very successful. Point Junior B Pacers schedule has been announced. The schedule has been uploaded on our online calendar. A meeting with the Pacers is still needed to renew their floor rental agreement. Water Plumbing was in to look at leaking hot water circulating pump on January 23rd. Parts were ordered and the repair completed on January 31st. On January 25th, Black McDonald were in to install electronic unloaders on the compressors. This was an add-on to the chiller project that never got completed last fall. As noted in previous reports, unloaders allow the compressors to run on less cylinders when there is less of a demand on them, thus lowering energy costs. Work management, there's 3 full-time employees, 1 seasonal employee. Employee training, all employees have completed the mental health awareness. Facility activity, we were 95% booked on the prime time ice and 84% on the non-prime, that's for available ice. Some of the factors affecting the totals were holiday closure, New Year's Day, and Silver Stick tournaments. Interior, general maintenance, cleaning continue daily. We also continue to see an increase in flooring lifting throughout the arena. Recall, the Point Optimists continue to operate the community hall. And for public health continues to use the hall for vaccine and food classes. Concession stand, Red and Co. continue to operate snack bar. The Class K fire extinguisher has been sent out for service. It was to be returned on Monday, February 6th. It has not been returned, but we'll look into it today. Inspections, monthly fire extinguisher AED inspections completed. Jude's in for monthly testing of condenser water and calibration of the chemical regulator. DMR security systems in for annual fire alarm monitoring system inspection. Exterior, nothing to report. In-venue advertising, Starlight Casino scheduled for early February to come in and look at Arena North Wall in regard to advertising. An update on February 1st. They were here. They were to contact Jim Burns or myself, as noted in the maintenance log. Vehicles and equipment, dehumidifier filters have been replaced. Brine filter on the chillers system has been replaced. Looking at new filters that may require less changes. Olympia blade change and weekly maintenance completed on January 2nd, 12th, and 23rd. We will need to schedule someone in the near future to make a trip to Resurf Corporation, Olympia Factory to have blades sharpened. Customer satisfaction, lots of positive compliments on the cleanliness and overall appearance of the arena during Silver Stick tournaments from parents and visiting teams. We also received plenty of encouraging feedback on ice conditions during the tournament. Health and safety, monthly SOP reviews as assigned by Health and Safety Coordinator completed. Dirty OPP contacted on January 19th about a possible car break-in the previous night during men's league hockey. OPP reviewed the video and did not see any suspicious activity. Capital budget, Canadian Rink Services has been booked for April 5th and 6th, 2023 to install the east side spectator netting. This was a 2022 capital project item that never got completed because of supplier issues with the filament netting. Water system upgrades are planned for 2023, still awaiting quote. All 2023 capital item quotes have been submitted for review. 2023 preliminary operating budget review occurred on January 31st with Tina. Closing comments. January is a very busy and exciting month at the rink. We hosted both the boys and girls Silver Stick tournaments for the first time since 2020. Point Edward Minor Athletic Association started the reseeded winter portion of their hockey season with lots of home games. We also saw the start of the second half of the Point Edward Skating Club's winter schedule. On the maintenance side, we had plenty of repairs and preventative maintenance occur. Looking ahead to February, we anticipate another very busy month at the arena, concluding with Point Edward Skating Club hosting Skate Ontario Star 1-4 series event the weekend of February 24th to 26th. This will be another great event for the arena and surrounding restaurants and businesses. If you have any questions, concerns, I'm glad to assist.
I just wanted to reiterate about the satisfaction from both the girls and the boys Silver Stick. I was in the arena during both, part of both of those weekends, and there's a lot of people that were making comments, like taking the time to comment on the state of our facility. And we know everybody likes to come to the point. They love the staff and they love the facility. So thanks for, the premises and hosting. And then next month we have the big jamboree March.
I echo that as well, yeah. It's great with both Silver Sticks. The flooring that's lifting, so I've almost tumbled a few times myself. I've seen other people tumble. So we're at the point now where, what would we do?
We tried to put adhesive down, but it won't stick. It's too cold. So I think in the spring, we're gonna have to get a flooring company in to look at it. We've had flooring companies before to do it, but it seems like it's all in that back hallway.
Can you slit it, inject adhesive and then put weights on it?
That's what we did in the past,
Okay,
but we tried it this winter, but
the floor itself is too cold for it to cure up.
yeah,
So you think over the summer we'll get her all?
yes, that's the plan.
Okay. Now, should we be putting traffic cones on these bubbles so people don't, like, as I say, I've seen people do a
Yeah,
little,
we can look at that, sure.
it might be worth, just, I'm seeing from a liability perspective and.
Or maybe some yellow tape
On it, like an X.
Like-
I don't
Put
know.
them back.
to mark the spot. Yeah.
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 Anyways, I'll leave it with you.
So
But I think we
wanna see
need
a bunch
to,
of cones.
I think some of the worst ones, I think we should probably look at it,
Okay.
highlight or somehow identify it. So. Next is Public Works monthly report. Thank you both for stepping up during the absence and taking some leadership in the department. We appreciate that. So through your report or.
Well,
you
we
rehearsed
don't
this, right?
have it here. I don't know if you could give us a copy of it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Here's one of the pages. I gotta find that first page. Sorry.
There wasn't a ton. We can go through and just,
Yeah, why don't you lead us through, Greg?
okay, I'll ask you.
Thank you.
They say training's all up to date.
Here,
The
there's
St. Clair Road
the-
Reconstruction Project meeting was held. Active
It's
transportation
got it
grant,
now. I found it.
asset management works continuing. It's the eyewash station, septet review. Road reports ongoing, garbage bales being emptied. Truck 4, it's all repaired and back, is it?
It is, yeah.
There was damage to the plow on truck 4. Lower for the salter. What's a curb runner? Is that just the guide?
Yeah, so it's a sacrificial part on the plow, so when they're hitting the curb, it gets ground down rather than hitting the plow. So there's something that gets replaced sometimes once a year, sometimes twice a year, depending on if you got a new guy running the curb, you tend to burn them off a little quicker. So,
Yeah, if it actually snows.
yeah,
The SEPTED review, what are you guys involved in that? What
yeah, I
what
was
do they
there.
recommend?
Basically, all they told us was the film on the windows was their main recommendation to us. Yeah.
Did you guys have cameras there yet?
We don't.
Okay, but they didn't think that was
There
necessary.
wasn't, the only thing he mentioned to me when I asked him was putting the film on the windows, which sounds like it's fairly costly.
Okay. And the air monitoring system, that's for the back part where,
Yeah, the whole place is set up so that if you run the trucks in there, we have an automatic fans that open up and take the exhaust out. They're coming to test that on the, I believe, which is a yearly annual test to make sure that it's working properly and calibrated properly. And then I have the showers done, but we're still waiting on the report for the eye wash and the showers.
okay,
But they have done their test, flow test.
so I think that's everything. And then you are, with the nice weather, you guys are starting your spring planning. You know, if you do, it'll snow like
Yeah, oh yeah.
crazy,
Well,
right? So-
Which do you want?
we have moved the trucks out and washed them, so I'm sure it's gonna snow probably in the next day or so.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I know we're getting barrels painted for the spring and trying to get anything that we can do like in the spring, you know, like just so we brought in some of the barrels and painted those. We've got the trucks greased, the machines greased, that kind of thing. So,
I saw Sarnia running their street sweeper doing the curbs the other day. Yeah. Might as well, you know, when you own one, you just
Yeah,
get it all done now, so.
yeah, you know, be careful with that, because it holds water, if it's much stored inside,
Yeah.
still freezes overnight. I guess.
Okay. That's good for that report then, thank you.
I just had a question.
Yeah, sorry.
Previous meeting, we talked about ordering salt, because salt was due to have a price increase.
Okay,
So
I
it
hadn't heard anything about that.
was the last meeting that Imran attended,
Okay,
and they were predicting a 6% increase in salt. We thought, top up the shed.
okay. Did he say when that was supposed
I
to
don't-
happen?
End of this month.
End of this month? We can order salt.
Well, I
If you're not,
Yeah.
you're not.
Like right now, we order white and blue, and I was looking at the bills, I believe the bill blue is about somewhere about $14 to $15 more a truck than the white salt is. We tend to leave that just for those scenarios where it's needed.
so you have space in the shed.
Yeah,
get
I
it
can
ordered?
order a load of both and have it for both if you want to. That's about a $9,000 order.
But if it was gonna go up 6%,
Yeah, no, I can order it.
you're gonna have to buy it this year anyway.
It doesn't go bad either.
So get it at the lower price.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, well, yeah.
It's not over yet anyway, so. there's no harm.
Well, yeah.
Right.
We're ordering more salt.
Well, like I said, it doesn't go bad.
Yeah.
Right, so even if it did sit, 2 years from now, it'll still do the same job that it's.
Well, I thought we generally closed out the season, filled up. So it was the first snow of the next.
Not
No.
recently, we haven't. I
No,
think in
okay.
holidays we did, but
Okay.
last year we were basically ordering it as we knew it. We were
Okay.
almost empty before we were ordering it last year. Just the way it was, that's
Okay.
how it was managed last year, but you know, we like to have some just in case, but yes, I will order a load of both.
The next item on the agenda is a review of the 2022 budget items. Tina, maybe you can walk us through the first section. I think that's all reserve transfers and stuff, is it not? Under revenue? Or,
No, these are things that were approved last year.
okay,
but we're gonna consider the traffic study done, it's being brought back into 2023, because we nothing got done with the grant or expenses last year.
Perfect.
So, we're gonna say that's complete. The other thing on that first section is where it says St. Clair, say St. Clair Engineering,
Mhm.
and we always carry that forward.
Okay,
That asphalt was an add-on after the budget was done last year.
and that was for,
McRae?
oh, McCray Asphalt. I thought it was a company we bought asphalt from.
No, that,
Oh, I remember we added that, yeah, as part of the Front Street project.
and then, tools and replacements. I would, can you see that, guys?
Yeah, and I see all those are pretty much,
Those are pretty well done.
and they're almost to the dollar spent,
Yeah.
so it's all good.
Tires for truck,
And the brine tank setup, that's on hold, right?
hold on, it's going down the list. So what, I don't know about that, brine tank and setup. So there was 25,000 in the budget. You guys know anything about that?
I believe that was, Imram was getting a price to have an actual tank put on our property.
And do you feel it's something that still needs to be done?
I think there needs to be some discussion on that, maybe. I think there's, I think we need to do some more experimenting and research before we decide to put out that kind of money on something.
So you don't think I need to carry it forward at this point?
I think it should carry forward.
Carry forward.
But I think there's discussion that needs to be had
Okay.
about that.
No,
Carry it forward, and then if we don't need it
Yeah.
in 2023, then we can, okay.
And so while we experiment or look at it, you can still get brine from the city.
I believe so. There was
Yeah.
never anything set up, but I could probably talk to them and have something set up. I think, like, from my perspective, this year hasn't offered us a lot of opportunities to try it.
Yeah.
We have a tank that can do it. I think for us not to just, like, we haven't even tried ourselves yet. The only experiment that's happened is the city is coming in.
Right.
Which unfortunately didn't go so well because they're using a different product now, so
Yeah.
that should help.
And they used it when it was too warm, right? It made it
Yes,
slippery.
the humidity levels are too high. There's a lot of like environmental factors that play into when you use it. And they use that wrong time. Now, roads have to be dry. There's so many scenarios that have to come into play for it to be effective. So I think what I would rather do is maybe set up where we can go and fill our tank with the city and maybe do the reader parking lot, maybe do the office parking lot, some parking lot, our shop. Let's see how it works, see if it's something that's viable for us. I think from talking to the guys from the city, and these are the guys that apply it, not the bosses.
Yeah.
This is the guys, the boots on the ground guys, and they said, for them, they believe that it makes more sense to use on the roads that they can't get to for 2 or 3 days than it does to use on the mains, because it's meant to prevent ice buildup, which we don't have a problem with. So, and that's partially what the city's done with blue salt, because it is actually from the MMS is also considered a pre-treatment. So you can use that instead of brine. I think that we have the equipment to spread the blue salt, so I think for us, I think it makes more sense to utilize that. And I just want to say that the brine truck, I don't want you to ever feel like we wasted money there. That's coming to very handy for doing flowers.
Yes, yeah.
Because the trailer that we have, the truck that we use, they can't put this together right now without a brake controller. And we can't fill that tank full, so we have to have some students. So that truck is very handy. I think from the public's perspective, being electric motors, it's much quieter.
Oh, they're electric motors.
They're electric, so there's no gas motor at 6 a.m. watering flowers anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't want anybody to think that we wasted money on that tank. I think that's a different factor.
Yep.
So I think so it's not something we anticipated buying, but we have used it well, I think. But it is something I think we do a couple years of experiments before we spend any big money on brine, because I think it is something that if you read, or you could say you utilize either brine or treated salt. So I believe that treated salt for what we do and how quickly we're able to get on it, like. We can have the roads done in an hour and a half, kind of thing, and if we're using blue salt, I think we've met all of our MMS requirements. With at very little output compared to, because we already own the equipment to spread it, so. but
And your
that's-
comment about starting to put in the brine, like I noticed a lot of brine out. Like out on Blackwell Side Road, Waterworks Side Road, the roundabouts are
Yeah.
heavily brine, so as you say, those areas, they'll be a while getting out. of
Yes,
the county.
and I believe they have a requirement to do their overpasses to travel over the 401 or
Yes.
402. So there's places where it makes sense,
Mhm.
but for us, because of what we're, our ability to get out so quickly. um, I don't want to, I'm not going to say I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's something that we need to experiment with
Mhm.
before we put in real money. into it.
Yep, I agree. So do we want to put that money into a reserve, Jim, or just leave it as a?
I think my advice is just leave it as it is. If by budget time we decide to not go with the brine program at all, then just, I would say take that $25,000 worth it to a truck, large equipment replacement reserve, because I mean,
Because
if
they're,
we don't go with brine, we're gonna need to replace the dump truck soon.
Right.
And so put as much money away for that as we can, would be my suggestion.
And the other item there that's in sense of geotab, is that working out well for you? as far as-
I honestly haven't, I don't have access to it myself. I think it is. I think you have the link to it, maybe, Jim. I asked Enram about it, so I don't know if you've been able to look at it. But it is, what it is it's really good for proving that we've been out. Okay, so the salters have them on them, the plows have them, so you know when they're up, you know when they're down, you know when they're active. So, and also the Sunbelt plow has, or not the Sunbelt plow, but the pathway plow. So I think from a legal standpoint, it's good.
And it tracks when you're applying the salt, when you're not.
Yeah, it tracks when it's turned on.
Right.
So if you have the spinner running, it's sort of got little sensors on it. So if the plow is up, it will say plow up. When the plow is down, it will say plow down. When the salter's on, it will say when it's on. So I think, I haven't looked at the actual website, like the link to it.
Yeah, I haven't lately. Emron showed me it.
He said
Months
it's
ago.
not overly user friendly.
Yeah.
So just be, he told me just be ready because it's not the easiest thing to. But we won't need it too often, I don't think. It's not something to track daily.
Yeah, you know where you've been, it's more.
Yeah, it's to prove it if somebody did decide to come after us for any reason, right?
Your other program, that's the things facing
Mesh.
MASH records all that too, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. So what Mesh does, Mesh, we do that for our road patrols.
Oh, okay,
And we do it for, so what we do, we use them in combination.
Okay.
So when we do a road patrol, if you look up Mesh, it tells us what roads we're supposed to do. So it's mostly the county roads that we have a list of roads that we have to do with road temperature, if we have a chance of snow. So what we do is we do that out of the operations truck, because it has a geotab in it. So then when we do it, we can go back and say, yes, we patrol those roads and make the decision via those roads.
so
And
it's
then
the two things together.
it is kind of, yeah. So it makes more sense that way. Initially, he tried to get Mesh with a separate like tracking system, but it makes, we already have the tracking system built into the truck, so it's just a tandem. So if ever we have questions, we can bring up Mesh and say, yes, we did road patrol at this time. This is what it says, and the geotab will prove that we had traveled that. And then Mesh is also for the weather reporting
Right.
3 times a day.
Great, thank you.
So any other questions on the general part? Marianne? Is it? So
No.
parks for last year, the only things I noticed was, got the roof done for half price. Did we just do one roof or?
No, we went away from metal and went to asphalt.
Okay, so that's, okay, thank you. So both roofs were
They're both
done.
done, yeah.
Hold on a second.
Yep.
With our tree trimming, it looks like that's complete. The pre-engineered the playground.
How did you get $127 in the word engineering in the same budget item?
Yeah, so I don't know, but
Lunch with them?
Yeah.
anything to do with Matt, we'll just go back to the Matt account and come back out anyway,
Yep.
so we'll just consider those all complete. That trade-in, the Kubota complete. Push on more.
In that push lawnmower, did we go electric or no?
We did, yeah.
Is it working good
Yeah.
for you?
We haven't a lot of chance to use it yet.
Yes,
We've got it late in the season, but yeah, it's
lighter.
it's lighter, it's,
Versatile.
I think it's gonna be,
So the tennis courts, there were some repairs that weren't budgeted for that had to get done. But then the LED light that was gonna come out of Blue Water dividends, is that still something that's gonna get done?
I believe it's done.
Yeah, they're installed.
Yeah, I thought so
They
too.
are, I know
Right.
somebody came to drop her remote, or Doug drop her remote off with me and
Yeah.
said that,
You know when?
I would
And
guess,
obviously it's.
I would
months ago?
guess it was probably late August, September. Was it?
Yeah, I think 6 months, I'd
Okay,
say
I'm gonna have
6
to look
months.
into that one then.
I'll send him around an email, ask if he knows.
Maybe
the
it's got
invoice for that.
coded wrong.
Because I think Roberts did that, didn't it?
Roberts,
I believe so.
okay, well, maybe you guys can come in after, we'll go through those. But that was supposed to come out of, Blue Water Power dividends.
I've never seen the receipt from Roberts for that. but-
Well, yeah, we'll go through the invoices I have and you can let me know.
Okay.
And then the pathway repairs. we'll do those.
So under pathway repairs, I remember last year, we talked about putting dirt.
We did do
along-
that.
We did do that along Michigan?
Yep.
Okay.
That's done. There's probably, there'll be a few little spots here
Yeah.
and there as we go, but the majority of those really big drop offs by the
Yeah.
side, that's all.
Okay.
It's all seeded and we should, springtime, we should be, we had grass growing there this fall and hopefully. Stronger.
So there's only two carry forwards, the engineering and the brine tanking setup.
And it was engineering for which team?
St. Clair,
Okay, right. Right, good, Jim? Okay.
We have to do Derek's.
and then Derek and I basically went through it. And unless he's changed his mind or anything, the only one carry forward was the east side netting.
That's good.
The red, what's the other red one?
That's.
That was Matt, and because it didn't get done last year, it has to do with Matt, so we'll go back into the Matt money and come back out this year. And that would be another discussion when we actually get to it, because it's.
Okay, so the arena, that was sort of done, accepted that, there's a plan in place. And, community hall, we did install the safety rail as per safety committee.
Yeah, so that's done, and apparently, we don't have to worry about site conditions. We went ahead and bought the right, Jim?
Yeah,
What is that?
we did.
Time for the candidate.
Yeah,
We can test them out.
That's everything.
Sorry.
so now what we'll do is we'll go to 2023 requests. And we'll walk through those.
And who are you starting with?
Who's at the top? We might as well do the arena since it's on the top there.
Okay.
So you want to walk us through these, Derek, real quick, just to give us a recap of what you're asking for? Or- I know most of them.
And that's okay.
So the ammonia detection was talked about, that's just for safety.
Safety, that
Got a
gives us
room?
an outside monitor.
Yep, I think that's, no debate there. The second, AED, I think is a great idea. We, it's like a lot of things, you don't realize where your hole is until you actually have to use something, and that would have been much better down to that end. So it's gonna go where, down by the,
Between, probably by the water fountain.
okay,
So when people come down that hallways, they're gonna see that.
Yep.
First thing.
yeah, perfect.
We go down the north end of the rink to the new crest, 6, 7,
Yeah,
8,
yeah,
somewhere right in that first.
oh, yeah, okay,
walk.
yeah, I got it now.
So everyone going into there will walk by it.
Yeah.
Everyone
We do
come
have
back.
people use the north entrance on Sunday mornings. We
Yeah.
open the north entrance. They wouldn't go through the front entrance and see the 8.
Okay,
And we also talked like the guys that we get AED are on skates and we're on the ceramic tile this way. You can go get an AED on skates and stay on top of it, even though it's public, even though it's humps in it.
Have to look at those on sale for you.
And then maybe maybe talk us through your new, security camera system?
So this was just to upgrade the existing system and add a few cameras. It would take care of one of the OPP's recommendations too. And the plug and play network video recorder is just to upgrade the one we have. It's slowly failing.
And what's that? The plug and play video?
So it's your hard drive
Oh,
in the
okay.
back room, and that would be an increased size. I think they're 1 TB, 2,
So
How many cameras?
probably 4 more.
you have 8 now, right?
Yeah.
You want to go to 12 and then you'd have capacity for 4 more.
After,
Sure, yes. Bare hand, any of you okay with that?
And that 10,533 includes that plug and play
yes,
network.
it's all,
And is that installed price too?
I believe so, according to the quote.
The battery etcher, my understanding is it's failing and causes a smell.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So we were either told it's the battery's failing or the motor, but more than likely the motor is failing on. It is 10 years old now.
Reserves, I noticed reserves last year for the roof, we put in 75, this year we're 67. Is that based on?
That was based on what we had at the time. That was just different. So I don't know if that's still a good number or not.
Should we do another 75 or? we just leave it? We're gonna need more money anyway.
Yeah. We don't really need to raise
No, I
the
know.
numbers going here, but it is gonna cost more money, there's no question. about it.
Okay, you missed the line for the actual ice research.
The battery etcher?
No.
The one above.
The Olympian.
Oh, it's in blue. I don't do blue ones.
So I think the idea there is potential replacement of that unit next year.
Yes.
And staff recommendation was to put half the money into a reserve this year. That's what the 90,000 is representing.
And then there was also treatment.
Yeah. Our,
Which wouldn't go until we
Right. And I
actually.
think he said the trade-in value we gave, he would honor till this fall, so obviously that might go down.
Yeah.
What's the trading value?
Was it 33,000?
33,000.
yeah, the 33. So what we've done in the past is we've always just shown taking the trade-in value off the expense. The auditor has asked us to show an income for the trade-in and then the full expense. So that's why.
Because they wanted to dispose of the old equipment and put a true cost in for the new equipment.
So my question is, did we have to put batteries in it last year? $20,000 in batteries?
Yes.
Are we throwing away good money here? We're gonna get 30,000 for $20,000 worth of brand new batteries.
Could look at it that way, but there's definitely some issues going on with it now. I mean, we've had the blade stuck in it. Parking brakes failed on it. The down pressure, we're having issues with that. And I mean, I know it's just wear and tear.
Yeah.
Again, it's 10 years old too now.
Yeah.
So
So you're saying 30,000 for possible trade.
Trade-in.
And we're gonna do this in 2 years, so I guess 2 more
Okay.
years.
hopefully next summer, because I know there was a 14-month lead time on this. So
finish off this season and then do one more full season and then replace before September of 2025.
That will not get us 3 years of these new batteries.
Yes.
So at least we're getting a little bit return on that investment.
Will the batteries stay with us? Maybe.
No,
no,
No, they go with us.
they're hard to push. Okay, so we're gonna leave that at 90 then, Mary? The edger, we're leaving, the roof, we're leaving at 67. Dehumidifier console, we're still,
He took it out.
Yeah, we have staff recommendations.
Yeah. The water heater project's going forward,
Okay, so that's what we have to talk about.
okay?
So the 50,000 was what was approved in 2022 max. And now Derek's saying it's being scheduled for April, but he feels it's gonna be double the price. So really, there's another 50,000.
Are we doing filtered water now? Is that?
I think, again, I'm just going on what he's saying. There hasn't been a quote sent yet. The first company they brought in never even sent no quote. So that's why we got this L&K come in, and I seen John McNaught, he said, try to have it to us this week.
I always thought the number that was bounced around was 80 for this system.
I think originally it was, but I think the 50 was, in the repairing the other end and doing some minor upgrades. Now they're gonna do everything in the south end. It's gonna be one central location for all the hot water tanks. Because what the temporary repair we did is working, but obviously there's a limit on how much hot water we can use. Right? We only get 2 tanks.
So Tina, this is math money. If we change that to 80, does that do anything or is that
Gives you
20 more grand in
another
that money?
20 for something else, or you can keep with the original 50,000 and take 50,000 from somewhere else.
Yeah. You could, I would say this might be a project that might qualify for the money we get from Blue Water Power for
You
efficiency.
take out dividends instead of the mat.
We could potentially, like if you want, we're kind of running out of efficiency projects. So
that's good.
this
This
is
is
a
a definite,
possibility.
this is a definite, it's not
Yeah.
an electrical efficiency. Well, it eliminates a bunch of electrical water tanks.
Let me see, there is efficient, he figures right now, we're running at about 70 to 75% efficiency with these hot water tanks now, those, you'll be pushing 90.
So can we leave it at 50 from that and then take the rest from efficiency?
Or you could do the whole thing on
I do the
efficiency.
whole thing on efficiency,
Okay.
it saves up the mat tax for,
There we go.
Okay, so.
I think it'll be enough money in efficiency.
It's a little over 100,000 right now, I think, or just, it's right in the 100,000 range.
How convenient.
Well, I still have to make that adjustment as soon as we find out that tennis court for that, because I haven't taken that money out, so, yeah, so let me. Do my little
So you're,
changes.
so you're clear on what we want to do there, Tina?
Well, yes,
Okay.
the full 100,000.
Yep.
Okay. But do you have to do a motion to, or something to approve the difference in the approval?
No,
Like three or
this all
two?
be approved is when we
When you
approve the
approve-
budget as a
yeah.
whole.
Okay.
You're
That'll
approving.
cover it.
That's good. And then the netting on the east side was talked about, and that's been approved, but is that number not having, well, that's the extra above and beyond.
Yeah, he has to run a
Zone lift.
and then there was additional costs for the netting. And the paper rate went up.
That's like almost 50% increase.
But I think a lot of that is
Yeah.
the genie lift.
Yeah.
I think they're $1,000 a day.
And so talk me through that again. Nobody can use ours. eh?
From a health and safety standpoint and liability issue, that's a concern that we raised, but having contractor using our equipment.
Who raised that concern internally? Was it raised?
Okay, and then
Community hall.
community hall.
So I've talked to the office about getting round tables, they have nowhere to store them. And they're about $600 a piece to purchase, a 6-foot round table is about $600. And they cost about $300 a year to rent. So as a staff group, we just felt that it wasn't, we did some investigating.
Yep.
We just didn't feel it was especially the storage thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Recommend taking that one.
Oh. There was, are we in the community list for concession, right?
You know what the concession is? I don't remember the number off the top of my head. We passed a committee meeting. We decided to put so much money away each year for.
I recall
like, to set up-
2,500.
was it-
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah,
to set up a reserve for
Yeah.
anything that did need to be done in
Okay,
concession,
you want me to add that,
please.
and how much?
I 2,500 does sound right. I'll look back. into
2,500?
it. Yeah,
Because I think we went with the number comparable to the price of the hot chocolate machine.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Okay.
And where's that on here? Is it, or is
It's
it?
it's
not.
not.
Okay.
so-
So I'm gonna have to add that one as well.
Yep.
Okay.
So now we go to Public Works and Parks.
Yeah.
this is to buy equipment.
Okay, so we do half or off.
Capital.
Yeah, the capital reserve.
So if the fryers go.
Then they don't have to have,
Some
we don't have the slush fund.
Yeah. Yeah, point of fair.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
right.
This is so that when the hot chocolate machine went, took a long time because they had to come to council.
Okay.
Approve it. Now we're saying if there's 2,500 there, then Jim can just approve up to 2,500.
They'll have
So
their
that,
own little
so
fund.
we don't go a month without hot chocolate or whatever.
Okay.
Or if you build it up a bit over the years.
Yeah, over the years it
Yeah.
builds up, then we have to replace the hoods.
Or fryer.
Like if the
yeah.
hoods go, that's a big expense.
Yeah.
So,
So-
expansion.
You ever put it down
Yeah.
And then we put in the license,
Yeah.
the licensed area and the patio.
Yeah.
Or a drive-through window.
Yeah.
At the back door.
Okay,
So, yeah, moving on to public works.
So heavy truck replacement, what's the difference between a heavy truck replacement reserve and a dump truck reserve?
So we decided, we recommend putting them together. There used to be, like, we had money for a half ton or 1 ton truck and then a dump truck. We're not 100% sure which way we want to go, so we thought just put it all in one reserve and then we'll decide. And the thinking was if we were going to do brine, it would be best to have a 1 ton truck. If we're going to be doing more salting and plowing, the larger.
so you can see the 20,000 was removed. They're all gonna be into one now.
Oh, okay. So we're not doing 80, we're just doing 60.
Correct.
Okay, perfect, thank you. And then this half, the pickup truck half, which truck is it replacing?
Well, it would be more likely, well, because we've had that one truck taken out of service,
But it was taken out of service years and years ago.
well, it was used last year.
Yeah, but- Yes, in theory, on
But
paper.
also the 2013 that we have is starting to rust, and so it's more just for, that eventually will probably become like a student truck.
13.
Yeah.
And what I worry about, and I've raised towards expanding our fleet, every time we buy a new vehicle, not getting rid of the one it's replacing. We
Yeah.
did that with the arena truck now, and then now we're looking at doing it with this truck. Before you know it, we'll have,
But this is
No,
replacing the one that we just took off the licensing and everything, right?
but that truck was already replaced once.
that was replaced for the wastewater plant.
Yeah.
Okay, so which one are we replacing, Steve?
The 13, well, it's, the idea is to replace the 13, I believe.
And then the arena truck, what are we doing with that? Is that being
That's
auctioned
when
off?
we talked
Again,
about
I've
declaring
asked,
surplus.
are we allowed to surplus it? That was the question.
That's so the way, if that's what you want to do, you'd make a recommendation, bring it to the committee and the committee.
Because last I heard it was in, Shelley had sent out a thing that she wanted it scrapped. So I wanted to get clarification that we could surplus it, which I think makes some sense, like we might as well get
Why would you try?
$300 worth of scrap for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to give us
Yeah.
a couple $1,000 for it and fix it up.
So what
How much?
I know you said I need to get I can't find a blue book value on it because it's too old.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want me to call a dealership and see what they give us on trade or not.
Okay, we'll talk
Where-
about that after.
So it's
Okay, for budget purposes though, I think I'm not hearing great property, you just want, you're asking for a pickup truck. So it's an addition or is it a replacement?
It's a replacement for the 13.
But are you gonna move the 13 down to where the arena truck is?
Yes, I think, like, if it's still a viable truck, I think, like, when you look at the cost of what a new truck costs, I don't think it's, I think it's fiscally responsible to keep that truck until it becomes too costly to own, and as it is, it's not now, but it's getting to the point where it will become. So I think this is,
So I think what we're doing is we're retiring the arena truck and we're gonna sell it. So we could probably show a revenue, but once get a price. we
What
show-
need arena truck?
That's the
he
one.
was talking about the old GMC deal.
Yeah, so it used to be at the sewage plant and they declared it
There was a fire truck.
a hazard.
But and then you're gonna give it to the arena now?
No, the arena's had it since then.
We're gonna look at declaring it surplus. Then we're gonna look at moving the 13 to the arena and then adding a new truck.
What year is the arena truck now?
It's,
I didn't know the arena had a truck.
No,
Oh, they don't.
the GMC surplus truck is a 2003.
Okay, so the 2003 is being scrapped. The 2013 will be considered a spare truck. And then we're getting a new truck. So the fleet will have increased by a little bit.
All right.
The-
I can go to the water.
the
There.
3/4 ton
Yeah.
truck, the 3/4 ton truck also that we use for watering right now. Is
Yep.
also, that's a 2009. So that's, gonna see, but that's a 3/4 ton, so that's why we use it for the water truck. That has a limited lifespan also.
Oh, so it's got the brine stuff on it?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the one that carries the tank. You don't have the tank on it right now because it sits outside a lot. And I don't want to do pumps and stuff, so it only takes a few minutes to put the tank in. So I'm taking it out so that we don't damage. But that is higher kilometers and older. there are two trucks that are kind of
So,
going towards the light, you know.
so should we be replacing the 9 or the 13?
The 9 probably at first, but that's where we have to decide if we want to keep it as a 3/4 ton to be able to carry the water tank.
And it sounds like we like the water tank.
Initially, there was a 1 ton involved in this whole
Yes.
scenario, and so that's why there's some confusion here, because initially the 1 ton was gonna come in to carry the tank,
Yes. And have a blade on it and be
potentially.
our second plow vehicle.
Now that's kind of been, Inram had said to Jim about maybe taking, instead of buying that, pushing that into the dump truck. So the half-ton replacement was always there as a half-ton, but if we're gonna eliminate a 3/4 ton, what I have to do is do the math, can a half-ton carry the water tank fully loaded? We can't buy it half. But this is all sort of newer, so the difference between the cost of a half-ton and 1 ton, or a half-ton and a 3/4 ton is probably gonna be $1,000. The truck, the Alto's truck is also a 3/4 ton.
What year is it?
It's a,
So the Ryan thing could go on it.
it could, but then it would be, kind of a winter only for the summer. Because the tank's gotta stay in there, so you can't put shovels in, you can't use it for anything else. That's why that organized is, because it doesn't.
So why don't we just leave the 65,000 and then you guys
Yeah.
figure out what truck you're gonna get.
Yeah, it sounds like this needs more.
More thought.
It does, and unfortunately, there's a lot of parts that we're
Yep,
just
so you
only
have the
just
money
getting
stored.
in on. So there's a lot of, so I don't have any really
Yeah.
concrete answer for you right now.
Well, it's complicated when I said like half ton, 3/4 ton.
Yes,
9, 13.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and somehow they play different roles in our department.
Right.
So that's,
And mileage, you can have an older truck with really low mileage.
that's why the Brian truck is great. It's an 09 now. It's got some higher mileage, but that's what it waters flowers in the morning.
Mhm.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
So it's great for the duty it has.
The road sweeper was deferred from 2022 and not moved forward. I spoke to Imran about why we're going brand new and why we wouldn't just buy a gently used one and refurb it for the amount of street cleaning we do. Like if we had thousands of kilometers of roadway, yeah, Brandy, was that dismissed as a not an option?
Pretty much, I mean, just concern over buying other people's problems. Yeah, there was discussion about it and our feeling was it was not. Go.
I went to a fleet management course last year and I spoke to a few of the guys. And they told me that street sweepers are their most highest maintenance vehicle. that they own. They don't have any house mechanic that they can pay. That's what they fail sometimes.
So when I look at this, $210,000, we spend about $7,000 a year street sweeping. That's a 30-year ROI, excluding the maintenance. So if you maintain it, we're probably into a 40-year return on investment to get our money back. So I
They
think,
did take it out.
yeah, and I think it should just be taken out and not pop up again. 'Cause I just can't see, we're only paying $7,000 to $10,000 a year to do it. That's a long
We have
time.
no maintenance costs, we have no insurance costs based on it.
It's a great idea for like a luxury item, but
Yes.
I don't think it's.
Yeah.
you're right, it's not.
Because Paul took me to a Good Roads one time and they had, like, you can buy the ones that they got pressure washers and like.
Yeah, I believe the quote was on both, like I looked at the quote from last year, so the 210,000 was on the base model. And then there was about a $17,000 add-on, which would have been the backside and the pressure washing. So you would do catch basins, but
Yeah.
you would only be able to do 2 or 3 before you'd have to dump like the popper on, it's very
Yeah.
small.
The pressure washer is good for graffiti or whatever, but we have a pressure washer.
Yeah, we also have a water tank on the back of the truck.
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
we can easily make that happen remotely if we needed to, right? So.
Yeah, so I think, as Mike said, it would be really cool if we had a big room full of money, but, yeah. And again, the maintenance and the cost we get the service for now is reasonable, so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it'd be nice to have it available whenever you want it. That's the
Yeah,
downside. But
Have we really ever had any trouble getting a
Yes,
schedule?
yes.
Have we?
yes, we've had a lot of trouble.
And maybe, and that's one recommendation, maybe we can search out other providers. Because if you, when I was Googling street sweepers for sale, there's a lot of other people that do street sweeping, so. we're having ongoing problems with this contractor. Maybe we should look.
Or is it that we need to set a schedule more in advance?
Yeah, I know this year he had a few breakdowns. I know that
Yeah.
was part of one of the problems. He had one get rolled in the ditch and he had one down, so. There was some,
Maybe that was a bad year.
Yeah.
Sketching is a great idea too.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is that sometimes the
Mother
fall.
Nature.
the
Well,
fall
we
goes
were
later,
watching the
or-
trees
yeah,
and
Exactly.
things happened weirdly
Yeah.
last
we
year.
usually try and get it after the flower buds come
Yeah.
off, like when the cherries and apples and stuff are all done. because that's-
Everything was late last year and we tried to,
The way
In the
this
winter,
year,
we waited
the
snow.
way this year's going, we want to do it in March.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yes, I think that's on that one. So detachments where we're all removed, that's fine. Turf cutter, I think that's good to remove. I think we can rent from rental or whatever for the few times we have to cut turf. So the new plow I see is here. So is this just the blade on the front of one of the dump trucks?
That's
And what happens to them to make them need to be replaced?
Well, the one that we have, so the big one that we have, that's the one I've had to spend money on this year because we changed the cutting edge on it.
Mhm.
When we removed the old cutting edge, there was a big bend in it. So that cost me, I think about $2,700 to have rewelded. And it's
There's
starting to
also
rust.
yeah,
It's starting to rot because they see a lot of salt. That it came off, that was the better one of the ones when we bought the new truck. So it's old. And it's a one-way plow. Which is not
One-way meaning
needing it only pushes snow one way.
up to the curb.
Doesn't.
Okay. Oh, it's
So-
fixed on the truck.
Yes, so it's like a highway plow. So if you
Yep.
see the big highway plow with the big
Yep.
cone, that's what we have.
Okay.
So if you look at the city, they've got two-way plows, just like a pickup truck would or anything else. Which makes more sense. So when you're going around a corner, you can take that snow with you rather than leaving a big windrow out.
That's why we have those squares at the corners.
Yeah.
right?
Which we've been. which you
I-
can
So we've been
buy.
doing good. Yep. So I've seen it.
This
Great
way,
improvement.
save a little bit of time. that way.
Yeah, and just like for us, like I know Mike and I have been out plowing together a couple of times, so a lot of times if we're out plowing, you say Mike's behind me a little further, because I can try and clean that corner up. Now, if I had an angled plow, I would have that thing cleaned up in a hour.
Yeah.
Like the other day when that truck went down, I had to leave probably with the loader.
Yeah.
Which, believe me, it was a rough ride.
I can imagine, yeah. I followed you for a while, but
Like dead ends, I come into a dead end, I had that thing cleaned up in 3 or 4 minutes, dead end was cleaned up, we moved on.
right.
So it was super handy for that. So-
Okay.
So if we do get another one, we definitely need to go to 2 ways, and I know it's gonna add a little expense because they have hydraulics that are needed rather than our one-way plow. It lifts and it lowers, and that's it.
But you're getting efficiencies and productivity.
Oh, for sure.
So
And
does
it's a
20
poly plow.
Yeah.
So,
Does this 20 grand include the hydraulics and everything?
yeah, so there might be an added, I have to look, but I think there was I would call it 20 total, so it's 17 for the plow and $3,000 for the added pump that it would.
Perfect.
And I did get an updated quote, and it was only $1,000. So I just received it today, like this morning before we came. So the old quote, I think, was 59, and this new one is 69, so there's only been $1,000 increase.
Okay, so Veteran Park, you're only including money for the repairs to the monument and nothing else. Is that because the land swap is delayed?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna repair the cenotaph and hold off on everything else.
Tree trimming, we skipped over that.
Oh,
All
sorry.
our trees.
Yeah,
There's no comment.
I just assumed that was staying as it was. So, yeah. Waterfront Park's a student, crack ceiling with the county is standard. Catch basins.
The crack ceiling, I believe, is not happening this year. Right?
Well, Imran recommended we did, you recommend we do.
Well, we can't. Let's just put it that way, because I got an email, the Glen Hamel email that we got. We piggyback off the county, and if we wanted crack ceiling, we would have had to put our request in.
Oh,
So when he sent that to me, I'm like, so can I still do this? He says, no, I'm just telling you that you guys decided you didn't want to. So, I read it wrong, I guess.
okay.
So I had emailed them and said, like, so by the way, we are not in charge of county roads at all for crack sealing. So this is not, if you see someone Michigan, Michigan, we don't have a choice whether we do. those.
So this was to
County
seal our
chooses
roads.
that. That's just our roads. So there was a couple of roads, I thought, but this conversation was not, we never had a conversation about this, and then he just decided that we weren't gonna do it, so when Glenn emailed him to say, do you want to be part of this? He said no, so we have no choice in that until next year.
So can we crack seal if we see a crack? Like, is or is
No,
it pretty,
it's
is it
not.
pretty
Have you
sophisticated
seen,
equipment?
have you seen the mobile operation? that they do?
No.
It's like a,
Grinder.
and it's a tar, and it's a big boiler with
Yeah.
a tar in it and a board in, it's like a rubberized tar that they pour in, so
Okay,
it's not something we could do with cold patch, like if we
Yeah.
see a big one, we can try it, but it's,
Yeah.
you know.
So Steve will take this out for 2023. And then you're saying at the beginning of the year or whatever,
When I talked to Glenn, like, well, Glenn even told me when I asked him, he said he can even send his people that do their assessments, he said he'll send them, let them go around with me, so I can get an idea.
That's a
of-
great, yeah. that's a
Yeah.
great
and
idea.
get it in time.
Yeah.
For next, for
Yeah,
2024.
and then,
Yeah.
and what he said is give me your budget, and we'll tell you how much you can do. Like, if it's linear footage or linear
do you
meters.
sell cars too?
What's that? Yeah. So, yeah, so it was nice, because he said, like, you give me your budget, I'll tell you, you were able to do 2 streets or one
Yeah.
street,
Yeah.
or,
So
you know,
so what do
400 meters of it. Or
So Tina, is it dangerous to take it out and put it back next year?
No.
Okay.
Not in capital.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
It is an operating.
Yeah.
Okay. So crack sealing will take out with the note that it will be back in 2024. Catch basins, so Imran said not every year, and Steve, you're saying we should be doing
The
it.
catch basin?
Yeah.
I
No,
believe Imran said.
Everyone was saying
Oh,
every.
Every
every
year.
year. And we used to do it every 3, didn't we?
We,
first somebody was suggesting 1/3 each year.
Yeah, I thought it was a rotation.
Yeah,
As we start with, that was before Paul went to doing it every other year. And then Imran suggested we should do it every year.
I think what we ran into too is because we do it more often now, we're able to do it quicker than we used to be able to because they don't have to dump as often. There isn't as much product in
Right.
this as there used to be. So they were able to do it all last year in 10 days.
So is the 30,000 quote accurate, or can you go lower?
They do it on a time and
It's like-
materials, right? So
Yeah, so
we can ask them that question, I guess.
well, we can look at, yeah.
he
Well,
did
yeah.
say,
Different catch basins from,
he did say their dump site is closer now too, so there may be some reduced costs from travel.
so last year, Greg, we had 30,000 in and the bill came in at 26,950. That's pretty,
That's pretty close. I think 10% is really worth.
No,
and the cost could increase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we'll leave it at 30. Thank you. The traffic study,
That's offset above by the grants.
so the playground. So you're recommending here that we budget 1/3 of it? Is that what we're
Well,
saying?
this number will change based on what we end up with Matt. So we're kind of putting,
Also, the leftover mat is being applied towards the playground is what we're gonna do.
yeah, whatever you guys decide on. Up above, we know how much we have to spend on Matt and then all the recommendations. So at this point, this is what was left.
And it'll drop with what we just did with the hot
Yeah.
water system.
Yeah.
Right, by
So
100
there's gonna be
grand.
100,000 there, yeah. So once we're done this meeting and I update everything again, that number will change again.
And this is what we're expecting. This is as of the end of December of 2022, right?
Yes.
So.
When we
That's
get
that's
all
why I
that
wonder if we
entry.
shouldn't be doing the hot water. Oh, no, that's, the hot water's all gone too.
The hot water
Efficiency
will help
ratio.
us number, but
It'll
50
go,
grand.
it'll go up. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm
so there's more money left over from that that could go to that.
right, okay, good.
No, just another on that playground equipment issue. We had a meeting, Ron and I, with Timmons Martell and representatives from the ministry. And with so they've done a phase 1 and 2 archaeological assessment down there. That's been shared with the ministry. They're telling us the kind of construction we want to do down there. We have to get sign off from the ministry to do that. And we have to get, we would have a better chance of getting sign off from the ministry if we have approval from Omjan. So that's another one of the items we're working on with Omjan. The ministry is telling us like it would be unlikely that we would have approval from them before the end of the summer. So I really don't see, I mean, if we don't know for sure we need to do the project until the end of the summer, and then they need X number of weeks of lead time to get ready for projects, so I really don't see this as a project that's gonna happen this year anyway. So I mean, if we have approximately 350,000 or so in a reserve, and then if we put, you know, another big chunk from 2023 revenue, it'll, you know,
No,
go a
and-
long way towards.
And as you and I talked about, another year delay. It's not like the equipment is unsafe or failing, or it's just nearing end of life. So I think that's another, yeah, another year won't kill us. Okay? So we'll continue that strategy.
And we were already planning on, I mean, we were already going to consult with Angelon anyway. This just makes it more important, but that was one of the things we were going to talk about St. Clair Street and the park and water. So we had 3 different things that we needed to confer with.
Okay, so the electronic signs still out. The non-electronic signs, Dave Beatty. That's the quote that you received to refurbish them all, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we've given the green light on one.
Yes.
And we'll decide on the other 4 at March 23rd. Okay.
Gave them some pre-approval so that we could start working on something until the budget.
He installed one there on Light Street.
Oh, is that right, the new one is?
So what he did was he took that one back to work on it and installed the one that he fixed up. So if you're driving by, it looks really nice.
I've heard people say, it looks pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Our focus was, we're gonna focus on the south facing ones. 'Cause
Yeah,
They
I
got the
mean,
most sun bleach.
I think I told Jim this Veterans Park is the entire.
Yes.
And we turned around and added that on to his list because it wasn't on the list, right?
Yep.
Veterans Park was missing, so he's put that on his list.
I would say it's probably the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does hold, I think, a certain.
And is that part of this number?
No. Weren't
I
they 30?
kind of, because I thought, I'll have to look at that quote.
It was 13 something I
It
had in the
was,
tax.
okay. So yeah, it won't- that number seemed a little bit high to me, so that's why. So no, it won't be on here.
So should we be rounding this up to 20 to get
Probably.
Veterans Park done?
Probably.
Okay,
Oh.
so
Before 6.
we're gonna round it up to 20 and then make it 6 signs.
Because those ones, the size of Veterans Park were about $3,500 a piece.
Veterans Park?
Okay, so the grinder for concrete, that's the sidewalks, right? And
Yes.
the humps and all that, and the shifting?
Yeah, now it'll do a small one, like it's not gonna do those big ones, you
Yeah.
still have to have somebody do those.
Yeah.
This is something else too, is I can rent this for about $400 a day and make sure it's something that's gonna work for us. It's another one of those things I talked to some guys at a course that I took, and they use them in their communities.
So they rent their own and staff
They
operate?
own them,
They
so
own
they
them.
don't rent them.
He's-
Oh, I'm
He's
sorry.
just renting for a trial.
Yeah, like I'd like to rent it for, just to make, I don't wanna spend $5,000 and realize that it doesn't work the way they were telling me.
Right.
So what I'd like to do, I know it's a lot for a day, but
No,
if we were organized and we knew we had 10 or 15 of them to do, and I rented it for a day, and we went out and did it, and I think it's $400 is worth it,
Yes,
before
for
we
sure.
spend $5,000 or $6,000. Yeah.
And the $5,000 or $6,000 is a good spend because when you see how much we spent to just replace those interlocks, like 17 grand for
Yeah.
not very much cement. And so,
And this would allow us to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
For the small ones, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feel like this year, I gave a list in, and what happened was we were supposed to pick it back on Saturday, and something got missed, and so it never happened. Which, according to, but we went and did a couple with, you'll see some done with asphalt, coal patch, because we had to fix those.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, so that's to cover our butts. more than
Okay,
anything,
yeah,
Because those
okay.
should have been done.
Yeah, I get it.
But the timing, something got missed.
and having our own would allow us.
Yeah,
to-
like I
to
said, we're not
respond to
gonna
one
do
right
those
away.
ones, the ones that are heat, but there's these ones that like, we could go and do, I think, anyway, from what the information I got from the guys at the course, there's a few of them that told me to utilize it, and they're the ones that forwarded that name to me.
Yep.
So they sent it to me, so this is the one we use, and it works good.
Do you know, Steve, roughly how many days of work we'd have when we're bringing somebody in to do it for us? Forest, would they be here a couple days?
I would have to look, you'd have to look at, I think the last, I can't remember the last, we used to have the guy that comes up the Bobcat.
Mhm.
I believe he was here for maybe 2 or 3 days. It would depend on how many you had to, right?
Right.
He seems to be very efficient.
He is, Sarnia really likes him.
I bet that machine would work.
So he came in for Sarnia's and then, like, as I had given him on the list, I think. Why? And he said, oh, he can come anytime. I said, okay. So he called him. And then when he called him, he said, well, I'm in Ottawa now. I'm done Southern Ontario. I'm off to my next one. So he's
Oh,
all over
wow.
Ontario
Oh,
doing it. Like even, like I went and talked to Sarnia. They had a similar machine, but it wasn't the same brand. They hated it, but I think it's because they had an old version of it. There was no clutch or anything. You couldn't stop the wheels. This one is a much nicer machine.
It's definitely worth a try.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I think for the rental, is for the cost, right, in the spring when, especially if it's gonna continue like it is, this is something we could rent.
You can
For a
do it now,
day,
couldn't
3
you?
of us could go out or
Yeah.
whatever and just, and go and, you know, I was thinking we could do a couple maybe of the OPP or Veterans Park to start.
Mhm.
Not look so much.
And it'll
just
give us
see-
a good, an idea too on the health and safety side of how much dust it's gonna create, how much noise it's gonna create.
Yeah.
Just to get
It's
an
gonna
idea.
be loud, there's no doubt about it, but. Yeah, but it's not, it'll be those small ones, so that we can kinda, I feel like it keep us ahead. Rather than always chasing it, you know, like
Yes.
Yeah.
McCray Park backstop's up next. What's the extent, the scope of that? Is that just the backstop? Is it the fencing along the first and third
I
base?
think
line?
it's the fencing. piece.
I believe it was, I never saw the quote. But I believe, when I talked to Inram, I said, if we're gonna do it, because all that fence is rusty.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, so if we're gonna have to do it, then might as well do it. Like, not so much the stuff in the field there, but
Right.
along the parking lot,
Yeah.
but the stuff around.
Is that?
Doesn't include the opposite of the park.
No. You're right along the playground. Because I think when we first discussed this with Imran, we said, if we're gonna do this, let's refurbish all the fencing around the diamond and do it, because it would look goofy to have brand new.
Just looking to find the quote here.
We get planted. Or ever did quote it. I know they came with a quote at the top off.
Yeah.
We brought it away.
So this is along Michigan.
Yeah, so the backstop and then, like,
And
you know
then-
where the stands are?
Yeah.
So it would be those 4-foot
Okay,
fences in front of
okay.
the stand. And I
around
think
each
there's
stand.
like a 6-footer in front of the stands there to block the balls, right, on the one, just on one side, I think, right? So, so we would be putting the backstop up to full size. so
Yeah.
We had to have it cut off. And then,
Yep, that's the parking lot. Yeah, it does do that, so.
It's quite a bit. It's
Is there some
Wings.
20-foot wings?
Yeah.
So it's right from the beginning of the parking lot.
So in front of the grandstand. we won't come.
No, it's even right out like Alexandra.
Oh, really?
That's what's on this
Okay.
drawing. I
Okay.
think that's what I'm seeing
Yeah,
here.
I think so
Yeah,
too.
okay.
But it's a different color. He's got it in orange for some reason. But it's
Should be the 4-foot.
If you have it as an add-on, a quote, maybe?
it's 2-inch mesh.
4-foot galvanized chain link, 218 feet of it, or maybe even 218.
He's got 170 feet of 8-foot galvanized.
Yeah, there's, I'm sure, yes.
218 feet would be about that run along the parking lot.
Yeah.
So we start with the backstop run.
Backstop, about 460 is charged.
So that's fabric, so that would be about half of that.
Backstop. Yep, and they're quoting a chain link fabric. Are you familiar with that? For the backstop? Is that just a term for?
It might be, like, you know, if you ever buy chicken wire, they call it hardware block.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
All right, and then that price isn't what's here.
So the price on here is all the taxes in, and Tina will back that out, that's why it's. Because, yeah,
Tax, it's 52.
for taxes.
So before tax, it's 42. After taxes, it's 52. We get 47.5. So,
Okay, let me look at that again.
13%.
so We just have to firm up the number there.
Yeah.
And you're okay with someone that has that in their hand on smack tax?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's,
$10,000 can't just be tax, it's gotta be something else.
no, I think, so, 42 in materials, and I think
Oh,
8,000 in labor and equipment,
And then tax.
so that's, yeah.
So we'll leave that in, we'll just update the, whatever the number is supposed to be. Condition assessments? And will they be able to do it, do we think, like, once, like, April 1st? If we do March 23rd approve? I wish we could give contractors like a heads up, it's looking good. Like, you know what I mean?
I know fence guys are really backlogged right now.
Yeah, yeah.
They're probably loving this year because they're actually, like I saw a board out there actually doing fence right now, which will.
Gets a head start.
I know when I had Borer come down, he said they were. he was so proud.
Because when does baseball season start?
First week of May.
Yesterday. Because we'd like it all done before.
Yeah, I don't see quickly here anything that talks about a date.
Okay, so condition assessments at 200 grand.
So let's work on like storm sewers. Lateral, cleaning up laterals from storm sewers. And it's for asset management plan, to do a condition assessment to update our asset management plan. Jay and Ron and I need to sit down and Steve as well to talk about. Jay thinks this money would be better spent on sanitary sewers than storm, and also on mains more than laterals. So, but it's having somebody come in to do, you know, whatever, and do camera work to find out the condition of our assets. To help her get more information for asset management. The $200,000 is, it's really just a number in midair. We met with Blue Air Power the other day, and they haven't done this kind of work before, but they're gonna try and get an idea of what, give us a better idea how much it's gonna cost per item. It is a lot of money, there's no question about it.
And they do it based on an hourly basis, and I know from Jay and with Becko or Leaves, they do it on a per meter. Their camera work anyway. They don't have the technology that Becko has.
Right.
And so from a 1 to 10 priority scale, where does this lie? As far as asset management?
I can't answer the question off the top of my head. I can find out, Imran's kind of a lot more up to date on asset management than I am. But it's all part of the work that has to be done for asset management. Right now, we have numbers that are all just based on assumptions. And the assumptions might be, they could either be condition could be better, could be worse.
Now, if Blue Air Power did ask me, like, can I have them come in and do say Black Street? So we get an idea of how long.
Oh, yeah.
That's something we want to entertain, just so, because he's gonna have, like, he doesn't know what numbers, because he doesn't know how much flushing, how much.
Yeah.
Like, for them, this is all new to them too.
That's kind of a better idea, to piece to get an idea of it, and then maybe it doesn't have to be all done. Split.
Well, what could happen is you could have them come in and do it, say, do whatever you can in half a day. We could charge that half a day to the $30,000 per catch basin clean. Because it seems like 30,000 might be a little bit high on there.
Yeah.
So get them to see how much you can do in a half day.
Well, and maybe ought to piggyback off of it as they suck them out. Now they know they clean that out, or
Yeah.
suck them out after, depending on.
Yeah.
What makes the most
I
sense.
think that's a good idea. And maybe they'll tell us, what, this is beyond us.
We don't want part of it.
Well, I know he did show me the picture up there, yeah, about it. And it's a small tank, they're not gonna if they run into a lot of material, they're gonna be, we will obviously have a hazard set up for them. But it will be, they don't have a big tank, like they have a trailer tank. It's not like a big water tank truck like what you see Banco or Frank Plaza or something like that.
I like that idea though, to give them a chance to kind of see if it's something they're even capable of doing, so. And like that $30,000 is probably fairly safe.
And I'm sure if we said to them, like, if you don't know, then maybe they can give us a deal here, so you could piggyback your pricing off of us, right?
Yeah, where you're getting.
Because we're helping them learn.
A little bit, right?
That's
So
right.
maybe there's a little bit of room there.
Yeah, yeah. So 200,000 is, like, we shouldn't go to 150 or 100 or.
I honestly think that would be a question, a good question for Jay, because I know he has had some work done. He might be able to give you a better idea of what it's costing to have some of the sanitary, like I know we have flushed in cameras, we flush sanitaries every year. So he has a price for that. Right? The camera looks different, but he doesn't flush laterals, but he flushes mains yearly.
Right.
So he has a budget item for that. For Banco to do it. So that might be a good way of getting that ballpark. right
Yeah.
there.
So why don't we leave 200 and you go back to Jay?
Well, he'll be here at 1.
I get more out of it.
He'll be here at 1 for his part. You can ask him.
Okay, so we'll leave that at 200 then, is that? We address the cycle program's gone, and I think that's fine.
It is on.
I think
We haven't put any numbers in,
No.
and yeah, I don't.
there's not an appetite, right, Mayor Hand?
No.
It was, we entertained it, we listened,
Yeah.
we looked it up. This was, you
The
put,
green bins.
no, you put a unit in somebody's house, and then they put their stuff in, and it sort of
Dehydration.
dehydrates it, and then you end up with compost. But St. Clair Township's done a big trial with it, and so they sell them to people at like way below cost, hoping they'll use it. And then,
Like those black bins they gave away. Quite a few years ago.
yeah, but this, no, this is in your home though. So you put your
Sits
waste
on your
there,
kitchen counter.
yeah, or in the garage, and then you push the button, and then overnight it turns it into compost. And then, so you put all your green stuff in there. So there's a company in Ottawa that's really pushing it. So we had a presentation from them, and
It's
so.
mandatory on one street.
So the mission at St. Clair Flasher, I know they told us that's being removed in the reconstruction. In the overhead yellow and red light,
That's right,
so it's.
yeah, so I don't think it needs to even
We
be
don't do
here.
that either.
No.
No.
The only thing
So
we
it's
may
not
want to
required.
consider is adding an LED, the red light to the stop sign on St. Clair when you're approaching Michigan, but that could be in the scope of the project. Or done afterwards because it's solar, so.
You mean because we're getting a crosswalk?
Yeah.
So we won't need to do the other.
That's all coming down.
Yeah, yeah.
But what we may want to do is add the stop
Yeah,
sign in front of
yeah.
IC board, put a little red light on it.
Enhanced stop sign.
Yeah, yeah. So, but that can be done
That can be done,
anytime, yeah.
not at this point.
Yeah. The flushing, vacuuming, storm lines, 5-year program, there's nothing there but what's,
That's a, I'm,
it's yellow.
You don't have a cost yet.
Okay.
Wasn't that part of Imran's email?
yeah,
All about condition assessment and flushing and.
some more information on that.
So the Michigan and St. Clair flasher can just come right out.
Okay.
Food recycle can come right out, and then flushing and vacuuming needs more information.
We probably will leave them there. Like we won't delete them because we want to know that it was considered. Like,
Yeah.
we want to look at the
That way
record.
zeros in there that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that went through the
Girls
process.
takes a yellow.
Yep.
on.
And then
Okay.
road reconstruction,
We're plugging in 6 million.
I'd like to change it to 2.
I would too.
Dirt road, first dirt road.
I don't know, but like, it was 3, 5, now
Yeah,
6.
a gravel road will bring the speed down.
Yeah.
So this 6 million is all set up above in the revenue section between a loan and different grants we have and transfers. So.
And have we gone back to Nick, just asking how accurate they feel that?
We have, Imran and Jay have both expressed a lot of concern with that number because they gave us a number, I believe it was in 2019.
Yeah.
And then they just recirculated the same number again in the fall. But they said they've reviewed projects from last year and they're standing behind that number. Like we have emails that say they're standing behind that number. So
But things stay manageable. When it comes in at 10 million in the
Yes.
tender, they just say, yes.
it's not that, that's,
Yeah.
that's right. And neither do we. I mean, if it comes in too high, we have the right to say no.
Yeah,
But, yeah, I mean,
or
Jay-
borrow more money.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jay and Imran have both been very, like, there's been multiple emails back and forth between both of those guys and me expressing concern with that number, and they are standing behind it, so.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think all three of us are kind of thinking that it's. but There's not much we can do. really.
No.
So,
And
So
the
it's
rest-
like, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, no other additions that I.
Is there anything new capital items that are between then and now that you think we've missed? or
Not that we've thought of.
nothing to do there?
What is one I think I discussed with you, Jim, at MRI, is supposed to be like concrete floor repairs and everywhere.
That lifetime epoxy is not.
Lifespan.
Whose
Whose lifetime?
We had a meeting, all of us, and he said, Derek, can you get these quotes? I'll get these quotes.
And did you get any quotes there?
I got all my quotes. I don't,
I
that
said
was one,
Imran.
that was one, Imran
Oh, everyone's gonna do that one.
is gonna do that one.
I'll ask them about it.
Okay.
So should we put it in here?
I'll put the line in.
Yeah, so the Olympia room flooring would be the,
Concrete floor and the room.
yeah, yeah.
That glass still for the front doors at the,
I guess
Arena?
that would be something. that-
because it's like, if we're looking at security with cameras, why would we not do everything?
that would be a
Well,
council decision, I
One
think.
thing will be cost.
Is
Like,
that
it's-
right?
I
Do we have
haven't,
quotes
we don't. We've been told it's very
Is it-
expensive.
with all that glass?
Don't we have a $10,000 allocated in the capital?
Yeah.
So we can just,
And that's where this, so that's exactly, we've got $10,000, which we'll talk about at finance. I think it's in the
Yeah, it's
finance
in the finance.
area. So the idea was to carry that forward to 2023's budget to do something with. Now that we've got these set
Recommendations.
things, you know, we need.
Can you tell me?
So there, I don't know how far it'll go, though. I don't know how much this film costs. But you can find it fairly easy. But it can be flexible. We can think that that $10,000 isn't specific to arena or this building or whatever. It can be used anywhere. So
so yeah, we'll keep that available for that reason. I think the guy on the London line that does window tinting does that. He's right outside, just before I walk. I'll get you his name and contact info. He's been around for a long time too. ATG or-
Is really nice.
I'll get you his contact. He might give you a quote by- he might give you per square foot quote.
The police officer did mention that it's a lot like the windshields in new trucks, so somebody like that will glass or something like that.
Yeah, that's stuff there.
Okay, so I'll get all this updated.
then you'll add a new line in revenue
Yes,
and see if there's,
a new line in revenue?
yeah, for the 100,000 from
Oh,
Blue Water Power.
yeah, I gotta do all those adjustments. There's lots of adjustments. in this one.
Okay,
You know,
thanks,
come
Tina.
out of that and transfer over to the water tower. And you guys, want you want to stop by when you're done?
Yeah.
I'll see if we can find that tennis court invoice.
Yeah.
And we're gonna check on that.
I'll leave this one.
You'll have it done.
Yeah.
I hope.
I'll leave this one. It would be quick. Okay, so, again, thank you both for, I know you're working together, but stepping up and
Teamwork.
keeping us.
It's a dream work.
Yeah, keep us on the road and moving forward. So, the arena monthly financial and the public works monthly financial, we'll just receive and file those. Thank you. Our next meeting date of the operations committee will be on Tuesday, March the 14th at 10 a.m. If you dare miss it.